College football, we've asked for the longest time a playoff system, and the Decisive 12 has unveiled their latest top 4 for this playoff. I mean, here's the question. I mean, are they getting it right? Are we doing this the right way, or do they go back to the BCS system? What do you think?
Well, I think one of the biggest takeaways from having a football committee is transparency. You know, the ability to see what's going on and what's coming in and what's going out with the football subcommittee, which is great for football fans and college football fans like myself. So we see the eye test. We know who should be in our Final Four. We don't have to rely on the computers and different things like that. That's one of my biggest takeaways. And it also empowers the schools. It empowers the universities to go out there and play some of these big conference games and not play some of these cupcakes in the non-conference schedule. So it takes away from the big business. For example, Ohio State losing early to Virginia Tech, now having a chance to maybe enter into that Final Four compared to other teams that might have taken a little bit easier on the schedule. And the idea of how to improve it. I think conference championships.
Absolutely.
I think the conference championship, whoever win the conference championships, let them bang, then have the football subcommittees put them in the appropriate BCS playoff system from there. What do you think about that, Ty?
I mean, I agree. I echo your same sentiments. More importantly, I think this is better than the old BCS system where obviously you're dealing with more of your top 2. You add a few teams and they're talking about expanding to an 8-team playoff. But for now, it's good. They're looking at a bunch of factors. They're not being biased. And, I mean, week by week, and, there's still enough season left for it to still play itself out and for teams still to kind of, drop out and other teams move in.
Yeah, I like the idea of getting away from the big business. I don't want to see a 13 seed versus a 25 seed in a Fiesta Bowl.
Absolutely.
Let me see, a number 5 versus a number 3 seed, or let me see something like that instead of having all these big businesses come in and say, I'm gonna take Michigan even though they were 7-5 compared to another seed. So it definitely empowers the schools and universities, like I said, which is great for business moving forward. But now with the Final Four and the BCS coming out with their Final Four and their top 6, who do you have in your top 6 and who do you have in your Final Four moving forward?
I mean, I believe, you've got Mississippi State at 1 they had. I mean, that's correct. They're undefeated. They're doing their thing. Now, you do have Oregon at 2, a personal favorite of mine, but I don't think Oregon belongs at 2. I think Florida State, although the schedule isn't as hard as everyone else's, should be number 2. Like you said last week, to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. They're the champs, so while their schedule isn't as hard as everyone else, they are getting everyone's best shot. And Jameis Winston, for all his time he's been in college, he still has not lost a college football game, which is amazing. I think it's okay to have Oregon checking in at 3. And then as far as the 4th team goes, I think you got to move Alabama in there over TCU. I mean, they did put up 82, but look at the strength of schedule.
I agree with you. I think Mississippi State, is definitely number 1. Florida State, I still have them at number 2. I think if you're an undefeated Power 5 conference team, I think you definitely have a shot to make it to the playoffs. So I keep Florida State number 2. My number 3 team is Oregon. Even though they lost to Arizona at home, I still believe in Oregon a little bit better than everybody else. But instead of Alabama, I'm going to put Texas Christian University as my 4th seed. Okay. And the reason being is because even though they gave us 61 points on the road to Baylor, it was still at Baylor. And they were up by a lot until Baylor made that miraculous comeback for them too as well. But the team that has the most to gain is Alabama. They play Mississippi State this week, and they also play Auburn in the Iron Bowl in 3 weeks from now. In Alabama. So they definitely have the power to definitely move up in the standings. But who do you have the outside that's looking in that can creep their way up into that Power 6?
Well, I said I like TCU, and I still have them on the outside looking in. Look at Alabama's schedule. The reason why I think it's safe, to kind of put them up there now is because moving forward, they still have some very, very tough games that may not work in their favor, not to mention if they do get to an SEC championship game. And as long as TCU keeps rolling, they've got the offense, prowess to keep rolling here and get back in. I mean, Arizona State's doing some good things over there too. But, I mean, I'm the biggest fan of Texas Christian.